You're a high achieving woman juggling a million priorities, yet at the end of the day, you still feel like you're not getting enough done. I know you are exhausted, you are overwhelmed. You're wondering why all the productivity hacks and knowledge you have learned over the years is just not hitting the way it used to. Girl, I know because I've been there, okay? It's not about doing more, it's not about working harder, it's not about squeezing every second out of the day. And yes, we do have 86,400 seconds every single day. But it is really important for you to realize that you have to break free from a lot of the old productivity ways and hacks and myths that you have so that you no longer are stuck and you know how to move forward with peaceful productivity. In today's podcast episode, I'm going to be exposing all the lies that we've learned about productivity and show you how to reclaim your time, your energy, and your peace without sacrificing your goals and, of course, without sacrificing your sanity. Welcome back to the Fire Inside podcast, the podcast for ambitious women who want to get all they desire done without burning out. I'm your host, Sade Kelly, high performance coach, wife, and mom who loves helping high achieving women just like you reclaim 10 or more hours every single week so you can grow your career, your business, stay consistent, and know how to do more that matters most to you without stress, overwhelm, and anxiety. Now, there are so many productivity myths that I could have covered, but I drilled it down to the top 8 that I believe are keeping high achieving women like you overwhelmed and stopping you from reclaiming your time. Myth number 1 is being productive means getting everything done. Now, I know you've heard that one before. I know you're someone who's probably said to themselves, I should be more productive today. I should be getting everything done. A productive day means that everything on my list has been checked off. Wrong. That is such a myth. Now, I understand that when you set a to-do list up, you want to get through everything, right? But the truth of the matter is that there are endless things we can get done in this life, right? At the end of the day, we are all going to die. Like, we are not going to live on forever. And there's going to be thousands of things we could have got done in our lifetime. So when we're thinking about what we want to get done in a day, we shouldn't be thinking about getting everything done, but we should be learning how to get our priorities done. And we should know how to drill things down into what are our priorities and what means most to us, right? So productivity isn't just about getting everything done to get everything done. It's about getting done what matters most to you, right? Use the 80-20 rule, for instance. Like, I want you to identify what are those 80% of those tasks that are going to move the needle, right? And then we have 20% of things that not necessarily moving the needle, but they're part of our everyday life. So we have to learn how to give ourselves grace when it comes to trying to get everything done. I know it sounds counterproductive because in your head, you're like, being productive means I'm flying through my list. In a way, yes. But I also want you to remember that you can't just be flying through lists of like 20 things. You want to be getting through and getting done your priorities. For instance, I had a client. She was the head of a hair salon. She had a hair salon for like 20 something years. And she also wanted to grow her creative side of her business in terms of like her online presence and her YouTube. She wanted to be more present in her family life. And she wanted to do more things for herself because she had realized that she is really good at getting like 20, 30 things done in a day. And she came to me because she was like, Sade, I'm getting all these things done in a day, but I'm getting to the end of the day, I'm unfulfilled, and I don't feel like I'm moving the needle in anything. I don't really feel consistent. I feel like I'm kind of going through the motions. Many people get stuck in those cycles. You may be getting things done because you're high achieving, you're ambitious, but if you know you sit down at the end of the day and you are not content with what you're getting done, it is not because you didn't check off everything off your list, even though that may be part of the reason. A lot of times it's because you haven't prioritized and you're not getting things done that matter to you. You're not getting the things done that align with your values. You're trying to push yourself to just do things, and you're not taking a step back to figure out what actually aligns with what you actually enjoy. So when we're thinking about getting things done, we want to make sure that we're getting our priorities done and that we are content and we're doing things that fulfill us, because that is what's going to matter when it comes to being productive. Myth number 2, if you work long hours, you'll get more done. I know I've told this story probably on the podcast before, but I literally used to go to work my like 7, 8, 9 hours at work, come home, work another like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 hours at night and do it over again. I was clocking in like 12, 16-hour days. And I know if you work in like a field like that, like finance or in the healthcare field, you're like, yeah, girl, we work long hours. Now, just because you work long hours doesn't actually mean you're going to get more done. In theory, it seems like if I give more time to things, I'll get better at it and I'll get more done. Yes, if you get more practice in, eventually you will get better at things, but it should be over a decent amount of time that works with your capacity. You can't just be fitting things in to fit things in, right? It reminds me of Parkinson's law, which says that work expands to fill the time that you give it. So what that really means is if you give yourself 5 hours to do something, most likely it will take 5 hours. But if you give yourself 30 minutes to get it done, you're going to do your best to get it done in that 30 minutes. If you know you have actual time constraints and you only have 30 minutes, you're going to let perfection go and you're going to be like, done is better than perfect. Let me get this out. Let me test this. Let me just figure it out. Let me get through this so I can keep going. That is what I mean by you don't need to be working more hours. You need to be more focused with the hours you do have. Now, when I became a mom, this became so apparent to me like nothing before. Now, before I became a mom, I did work less hours as I became an entrepreneur. When I first became an entrepreneur, I kept finding myself checking my email, wanting to spend like 12 hours working because I wanted this business to take off. I wanted to make 6 figures in a day. Like I wanted all of these things to happen really, really fast. And what I realized is I was getting very tired. I realized that, I don't have the team that I had at work. So like this is not working the way it used to work at work. And what I realized quickly is that I needed rest. I needed self-care. I needed to work less hours. Now, when I became a mom, oh my goodness, like I still wanted to be running my business, but I realized I did not have the same capacity at all. I didn't have the mental capacity. I didn't have the physical capacity. I wanted to be present with my son. I really wanted that motherhood experience with him, especially in his first 3 years. Like it's so important if you guys look into the research, spending like that quality time with your child in the first 3 years, it literally shapes the trajectory of their life. Look that up if you guys haven't done the research on that. Really, the first 7 years matter, but that first 3 years in the home, everything. But I digress. So what I realized is that if I was going to be running a business while also taking care of a baby or now he's a toddler, I had to strip down my hours. So I really get to work probably 4 hours to 5 hours of focused time. And in that time, I have to maximize it. I have to set timers. I'm someone who I'll set a timer for like whatever time, I give to a project. So let's say I have 2 hours. I'm going to do like 4 30-minute projects, or I'll do 2 hour-long projects, or I'll do 1 2-hour project, whatever it is. I'll have the steps laid out. I'll have my timer going. I'll be taking breaks as I need every maybe 30 minutes, every hour. It really depends on how my energy is feeling. But I am like, got the clock going. And I know that if I can really, really maximize the small amount of time that I have with deep focus, I'm going to be able to make big strides. And this works for anything you're trying to do. So even if you aren't a parent, I know of a woman that I work with. She wanted to write a book, right? And she wrote a book in 90 days. She had been trying to write a book for years, her second book. She really wanted to get it out. What we did, maximize small pockets of time, right? So if she had some time in between meetings, write your book during that time. Even if it's like 10 minutes, sit down, write 10 sentences. It's better for you to get something done than nothing done. Sometimes people think they need these large amounts of time to get things done. No. Utilize the small amounts of time that you have throughout the day. Let's say you have a meeting coming up, you have 20 minutes to get something done. Go put the laundry away for 20 minutes in your home. Go unload the dishwasher. Like, as long as you're not someone who's going to get so distracted by that you'll forget you have something. And even if you are, set a timer, set an alarm. Like, we have so much technology. We have so many things to remind us of things. Let's maximize the time we have. And figure out, do I really need to take a rest and sit for 20 minutes, sit for that 5 minutes and just take a breather? Or could I get something done with that 5 minutes and I can take a rest at a different time because I'm really just using rest as an excuse, or I'm really opening my phone when I'm going to my email as a distraction. So this is going to be up to you, but I really want you to figure out how you can maximize smaller amounts of time and maximize less hours so you can get more done, because you want to be doing less things, because when you're doing less things, you're able to get more things done that are more meaningful. You're able to get them done better, and you're able to see more results and strides over time. Myth number 3, I just can't motivate myself to take action. I just need more motivation. And no, you don't. I think I just like making that sound. But you guys do not need more motivation, okay? Action leads to motivation. If you are looking for motivation in 2025, sis, you gotta let that go. We by now should know that we only get motivation here and there. It's so fleeting. It's not always there, and we cannot rely on it. When we are motivated, I always tell clients, like, when you're motivated, get more done. When I feel motivated, I'm going to strive to do more things. Like, I typically have a nice creative boost, like when my estrogen is rising, which is like right after your cycle ends. So I'm gonna maximize like writing out scripts, writing out content, doing some film filming, and really just like going in during that time because I know I have that cycle and that motivation comes around that time. But I cannot rely on that, and that cannot be the only time I do content or that I film, right? But I can maximize for motivation, but I can't let that stop me from taking action. Because if we tell ourselves, let me just take action for a minute, let me take action for 2 minutes, we'll start to feel motivated because we actually take action on something. Especially if you're a high achiever, you get a boost from getting things done. You get a boost from saying, oh, I did actually do that thing. I did actually get this thing done. I did push myself even though I didn't feel like it. I did hit the gym when I didn't want to hit the gym, right? Those things, taking that small action is what's going to create momentum. Once you have momentum, you're more likely to follow through and get things done. So stop relying on motivation because it is so fleeting, sis. Take action and the motivation will come. Myth number 4, self-care and rest aren't productive. Oh man, hustle culture has done it again, right? Hustle culture stops us from realizing how important rest and self-care are. So like I mentioned earlier, for me, I used to think that rest is something I had to earn. Rest is not something you have to earn, you guys. Now, sometimes I understand that the instances where you need to work hard, you need to be, I call it like my heads down period, where I need to be getting something done, where I need to hustle a little bit and I need to work hard in a certain season, but we should not be operating from that, especially if we've been operating from that in a season and we really just need rest. Let's say like you just went through a big project at work, or you just completed an event and it's like, I did all of this work, but yet now I feel momentum, I feel motivated, I want to keep going, but I really need rest. I feel my body telling me I need to take it slower. Doesn't mean you can't work or that you can't get things done and you can't keep being disciplined. It just means maybe you're pivoting at this time. Maybe you need to adapt your routine. Maybe instead of doing like 4 hours worth of work, you're doing like an hour. Maybe instead of doing 8 hours worth of work, you're doing like 3 hours worth of work or 4 hours worth of work. How can you adapt so you can get some more rest in, so you can really show yourself care, right? Because self-care isn't just a luxury. It's something we have to schedule in. It's something we have to make sure we're doing. A lot of times for me, I love to go get my nails done. I love to do my hair. I like to go shopping. I like to get a massage here and there. I like to work out. I like to hang out with friends. I like to go out to eat. Like I have a lot of things that I do that show me care. I also like to make sure I'm getting all my appointments in that are needed, right? To make sure I'm good internally, externally. Because all of these things are what's going to make you a good performer. If you're not focused on your water intake, your diet, I'm not saying you have to eat the best, the cleanest diet ever, because I don't, but I really like to focus on 80-20. Like 80% of the time I want to eat healthy. I want to make sure I'm maximizing myself. And 20%, hey, I'm going to do what I want to do, right? And I think it's really important to have that flexibility. And it's really important if you want to be a high performer to make sure that you're doing all the external things. We can't just be performing really high, but then overweight to the point of we have pre-diabetes or diabetes, or that we have high blood pressure, or that we have high cholesterol. Now, since I've had all those things, right? So it's like, well, yeah, well, I've technically not all of those things, but I've had some of those health challenges, right? And what I've learned from that is that we can't just perform and then let go of our health, right? Because it's not going to be worth it in the end if you're dead. At the end of the day, like we cannot just be performing so well and making millions of dollars, or killing it at work, or be the CEO, or be the top performer at our jobs for what if we're not well, right? If we're not well internally, externally, those are the things that's really going to matter most to us. So I want you to make sure that you are no longer telling that myth to yourself that, oh, I'll rest when I'm dead, or that I'll have to earn my sleep, or that I don't have time for self-care, because those things are important. You need to be eating meals every single day, right? A lot of times I work with women, they're skipping meals because they're like, oh, I don't have the time for that. And it's like, you're only going to hurt yourself because you're going to be trying to work through your hunger pains, your fatigue, your headache, and you're going to be exhausted when you could have been rested and well fed and getting things done in less time, because you're able to focus more when you're really focused on your well-being and you're aware of your habits and your patterns to the extent where you know how to take care of yourself really well so that you can perform the way you would like to perform. Myth number 5, one of the all-time favorites of my clients. I don't have the time. You have the time, okay? The more you tell yourself that you don't have time, the more your actions will show you don't have time, because your actions want to prove your beliefs to be true. If you've heard of the reticular activating system, that part of your brain that really wants to show you that what you're focusing on is there, right? It's like when you're trying to buy a new car and you're looking at this beautiful white A-class and you're like, I want this car so badly. And then all of a sudden, every time you go out into the world, you see this car everywhere. That is because you are focusing on it. So what you focus on, you bring into your life, you bring more of. So if you keep focused on not having enough time, your actions are going to show you that you don't have enough time, and your results are going to show you that, yeah, you believe you don't have enough time. So the behaviors you're doing show you that you don't, and then your results show you that you just don't have enough time. And it becomes this like cycle. I call it the procrastination loop. And the way to break free from that is to open up your mind and call out the truth. You have enough time. It's not about the time, right? We all have 24 hours. We all have 86,400 seconds every single day, right? But it's not necessarily about how much time you have. It's more about your priorities. What are you prioritizing and why are you not prioritizing? And that is the point of life, right? We have to realize that our life is the sum of what we do every single day. How we spend our time makes up how we spend our life. It's that serious. It means that much. That is why I'm so passionate about this topic, because when I realize, oh, I have endless things that could be getting done. If I can just prioritize what matters most to me, then I can stop lying to myself, telling myself that I don't have enough time, and stop giving away my power to everybody else, and realize that I can be empowered and I can be in control of my time, because at the end of the day, I am who is in charge of my life, right? So what I make a priority is what's going to get done. And if something is not scheduled on my calendar, I can't be mad that it's not getting done, because what gets scheduled gets done, right? And if at the end of the day, if I offered you $1 million to do that thing you've been procrastinating on, best believe I know you would do it. How many of y'all would do it, right? You know you would do it. So stop saying you don't have the time. Just say, this is a priority for me right now. This is not a priority for me right now. Doesn't mean it won't be a priority for me one day. But at this moment, I need to sacrifice and say no to something so I can say yes to something that makes the most sense, that moves the needle, and that's fulfilling me in this moment. Myth number 6 is for my creatives, because I hear this all the time from creative people. I like flow and ease. I don't like the rigidness of planning. Oh my goodness, BS. I'm calling you out on that. When you are planning and you have structure to your day, you have more peace. You have more ease and flow, because you know when your priorities are getting done. And I wish more people could realize that. And the reason why I think a lot of people say this, I like more flow and ease, is because they're the people that when things don't go as to planned, like they've tried in the past to plan things, and when it gets messed up, they feel like, oh my gosh, everything gets messed up. I don't know how to adapt. I don't know how to bounce back. I don't know how to get back on track. Things don't work out. I don't know why I even try to plan. Time blocking doesn't work for me. I've heard it all. I literally have heard it all. I have all these things in all these different places and nothing gets done how I want it to get done. I just want to flow. I just want to be easeful. I just want to get things done. I know I can get things done. I've been achieving XYZ by this. Yes, sis, you have achieved a lot. I know you have, because I've worked with you probably, or I've talked to you before, or you're here because you are that personality type, and that's what I attract, right? You have gotten things done, but you've gotten things done to the detriment of yourself a lot of those times, right? Without having a plan, when you just go throughout your life all willy-nilly, you're going to be stressed. I know you're stressed. I know you're overwhelmed, because overwhelm comes from not knowing where things are going to be placed. I always say that life is a bunch of puzzle pieces. And if we don't have the puzzle pieces placed in a nice puzzle, we're going to always feel stressed, and we're always going to have anxiety. We're always going to feel overwhelmed by what we have going on, because we don't know how to fit everything in, right? So we have to reframe planning as a tool that creates more flow and ease. If you can make that mindset shift and start realizing that when I'm able to plan out where my priorities are happening, I have more flow and ease. When I'm able to plan out when I'm going to allow myself to have flow and ease because things have gotten done, I'm able to rest peacefully. I'm able to chill with my friends and my family without feeling guilt. You don't want to be sitting watching Netflix trying to relax before bed, and all you can think about is all the things you need to get done tomorrow, all the things you didn't get done yet. How are you going to get this done? And your mind is spiraling and you're just worrying. that's not going to help you, right? That's not ease and flow. You think it is because you don't want to plan, but it's not ease and flow. You need to be flowing, and you also need to have a bounce back list. If you don't have a list in a way in which you know how to adapt and you don't understand how to get back on track, then that's definitely something I would love to work with you on. I highly recommend that you book a one-on-one consultation. The link is in the description, and let's get on a call and figure out how you can get things done quicker, get more done in less time, and also know how to get things done in a more peaceful manner so you're not so stressed. Myth number 7, I can't get anything meaningful done in a small amount of time. Now, I kind of touched on this earlier, but really, I want you to learn how to maximize small pockets of time. I have seen this so many times where people are like, I can't get things done in 20 minutes. I can't get things done in 10 minutes. I need 2 hours. I need 4 hours. And yes, you might need that, especially if you're someone who likes to start and finish something in a day, or when you do start a project, you like to finish it that same hour, right? You have to learn how to give yourself grace now, especially depending on your capacity and the time constraints that you have. But what I would always like to recommend is that you can get things done in quicker amounts of time. It goes back to that Parkinson's law, right? Let's start figuring out how we can get things done in smaller pockets of time. How can we break up a big staircase, aka a big project, into each minuscule step, right? What are the small things you need to get done? Can you break down this project so small that you're able to make progress on it every single day or 3 days throughout the week? And that way you're able to track it, right, along the way, so that way you can get things done in small pockets of time, because sometimes we're waiting to have 5 hours or to have one free day to get something done, and it's just not going to happen. I remember even talking to my husband about this. He's like, oh, I have so many coaching calls. I just want one free day so I can do all my content. And I told him that's unrealistic. Yes, it would be beautiful to have that one free day. And yeah, you can create that because you're an entrepreneur, but you're not going to get all your content done in one magical day. It needs to be a process. It needs to be a system. It needs to be something you do on a regular basis, because you're always going to be creating content. You're in your head, you're telling yourself, I just need one free day. But at the end of the day, you probably, if you're saying something like that, you just need rest, because you're getting to a burnout place. You need more structure with your coaching calls. You need more structure around how you create content. You need more time in space for just thinking and being creative. And when we're able to have those things in place over the course of a week or a daily basis, then you'll see more success in the way in which you want to. And myth number 8, our final myth, I'm not consistent. I'm not disciplined. Watch what you say after I am. I actually had a coach who said that one time, and I was like, wow, that is so true. Because he said, whatever you're saying after I am is something you're identifying with. And whatever you identify with is who you become. It's really, really helpful to figure out, how am I identifying? Because that's going to dictate my actions and what I'm able to have in my life. I really want you to focus on progress and not perfection, right? When it comes to how you're identifying. Discipline and consistency is really just a skill. It's not a personality trait. It's not like you're a procrastinator or you're not. You're consistent or you're not. You're disciplined or you're not. That is black and white thinking, which I used to get stuck in a lot, especially as a high achiever. I'm either amazing or I suck, right? There wasn't much gray area. It wasn't much in between. And I was so judgy, right? I was judgy of myself. I was judgy of other people, until I started realizing like that black and white thinking is holding me back. And when I can really focus on stop mirroring those beliefs that are not serving me, giving myself more grace, and figuring out in the places in which I am consistent, in the places in which I am disciplined, how can I take those same traits and those same skills and apply it to different areas of my life? And that is what I've done, and that is what I always help clients to do, because if we're telling ourselves we are not something, we're going to keep proving to ourselves that we are not that thing, and that myth is going to hold you back. You are not going to be able to be more productive when you're telling yourself this myth. And when you're telling yourself all of the myths I covered today, you're not going to be able to be more productive. Productivity is all about just doing more of what matters most to you in a sustainable way. So for your action item, make sure that you take whatever one of these myths resonates most with you, and you start taking small action to reverse this myth. I can't wait to see you guys in the next podcast episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in working with each other, check out the link in the description. You can learn more about my free resources, as well as book a one-on-one consultation with me. As well as, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.